I had a male in his 70s come in a couple months ago who had just gotten released from the hospital after a 3-day stay because of a small bowel obstruction. Now, this wasn't the first time it had happened, and the doctor said it probably wouldn't be the last time either. They told him that the best thing that he could do is go home, get some rest, and eat a low-fiber diet. Now, after a week or two, his energy still hadn't come back. He hadn't been able to start working out again like he wanted to, and for an active guy, this was a big detractor from his quality of life. So he came in to figure out what was going on in the gut that may have led to this and what type of things that he could do to start to maintain his health and make sure that his gut wasn't going to fall back into the same pattern again. The first thing we did was run a food allergy test so we could see what type of foods he was eating that were creating an inflammatory response in his body. He was allergic to a couple things like eggs, fish, yeast, tomatoes, and a couple other things that he was eating on a pretty regular basis. Step one was to cut these foods out so that he could take some of that stress off of his gut and actually give it a chance to heal. The second thing that we looked at was a stool test, which gives us a lot of indication of what's going on from a functional standpoint. When we looked at his test results, we saw that there was some significant dysbiosis going on, bacterial imbalance, and some metabolic imbalance. Both of those things we needed to address. Looking further, we saw that he had some significant bacterial overgrowth, which was leading to some inflammation and some methane production. While not a specific measure, it showed that this was going to be highly correlated with symptomatology. When we looked further at his overgrowth, we saw some infections that were opportunistic, meaning that when the environment allowed for them, they grew to higher levels, and we also saw some yeast that were showing up. Now, I can't say 100% that these things were what was causing his small bowel obstruction or causing his issues, but what I can say is that if we want to have a healthy gut, we can't be eating foods that are creating an inflammatory response every single day, and we also can't have yeast overgrowth, bacterial infections, and inflammatory bacterial overgrowths that are constantly contributing to immune suppression and activation. So now that he had gotten the small bowel obstruction taken care of in the hospital, the next step was to start working on the function of his gut, the bacterial environment, and the metabolic imbalance so that we can work to restore that gut function and get him as healthy as possible moving forward.